Good evening and welcome to day 7 of the Island Stats World Cup 2022 show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Matthew Fullerton, better known as Fully. 4 matches today, 8 goals in total. Another interesting day, and some of these teams were in must-win situations due to their first match in the group stages, and we'll get to them as we go. But first match up today. It was Tunisia and Australia. A group, the two teams needing to make sure that they get something out of it. Group D, Australia's put a little pressure. Well, no pressure because France is leading the group on 6 points, but a statement today made by Australia, even though, I mean, the lone goal of the game came in the 23rd minute, but your thoughts on this particular result for Australia?
It's definitely a good result for Australia. Puts themselves in position to possibly advance, gives themselves a great shot to advance, having already played the big name in the group.
Yes.
So any result against Denmark and they'll be through. So it gives them plenty. I actually thought this game would be a lot more open than it was. I was a bit surprised that it was only 1-0. But once the game started, I said I wasn't going to watch it, but I got up and watched it. You just can't say no to football, right? Once the game started, you just knew that it was going to be one of those games where one goal, neither team wanted to lose, which for me, Tunisia, I didn't really understand it because you know what's coming third. So you're trying to, like you said earlier, get those points in. I just wasn't really happy that I woke up at 6 o'clock for this, but Australians would be happy and good for them. You know, they did what they had to do.
Yeah. And of course, game 2 was just one more extra goal in this game. It was Poland 2, Saudi Arabia 0. Clearly, another two teams wanting to stake some claim in their group. When you start looking at the fact that both of them, struggled in their opening games, but here they are. Actually, Saudi Arabia won their first game, but Poland now lead their group C with 4 points. Obviously, we'll get to the other game of that group later on, but Poland in pole position now with 1 game to play, leading the group.
Yeah, this game actually reminded me a little bit of the Canada game the other day, and my mate Steve, who I watched most of the games with, said the same thing. He said it reminded me of Canada. Saudi Arabia couldn't hit the broadside of a barn from 5 yards, or other colorful phrases were used, but they had the chances. There was some amazing goalkeeping in this. Chesney for Poland stopping a penalty. And then, I guess you could say the class showed, because when you have a world-class number 9 who did that down in the first game by missing a penalty.
Right.
He grabs a goal, you're up 1-0. Some more incredible goalkeeping, keeps it 1-0. And then towards the end, when Saudi Arabia is pushing forward, 2-0 ball game, 4 points, top of the group. Yep. So you look at it and you say, Poland have not played well at all, because I wasn't ready for the first game.
Right.
Didn't think they were going to get something today as we watched the game, but here you are, top of the group. Doesn't matter how you play, it's the results you get.
Results, yep. So true. And then we moved to the next game, which we saw. It was the defending champions. Did enough.
Yeah.
To defeat Denmark 2-1. Just enough. And sometimes just enough is good enough if you get the result.
Well, when you have somebody of the class of Mbappe, you always have a chance. Again, world-class players obviously make a difference, and we'll get back to that too. But I actually put a tweet out 30 seconds before Mbappe scored the first goal, because I can't remember what minute he scored the goal in, but it was 60-ish minute that he scored the first.
61st.
But the first hour, that game was horrendous. For a team of France's caliber,
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, all the teams that won their first game just seemed to be playing very blah in the second. We've seen it with a few other teams so far, notably those boys behind me who are my boys. But there are others, and it just seemed like France were just going through the motions and playing within themselves and not really going overboard, trying to win, not really getting tested. And then Mbappe said, "You know what? Fully's talking that talk, so I'm gonna." But credit to Denmark, they literally turned right around, went down the field.
68th minute, yeah.
Made it 1-1, and you thought to yourself, okay, we got a game on our hands. Denmark had finally attacked because they weren't at all.
Right.
Then 2 minutes later, for a couple minutes later, they got a great shot on goal. Lloris makes a great save. And you think to yourself, oh. And then Mbappe.
Right.
You know what? I've had enough of this. Griezmann with a delicious cross. That ball was asking to be put in. I think he hit his knee. Somebody else said his head, but I think it was his knee. And he just came up. That's why I'm the best. Game done.
Yeah, and they sit on top of that group with 6 points of Group D. Australia's got 3. Denmark and Tunisia's both got 1. But they sit in the best possible spot now with only 1 game to play, and confidence. Even though they didn't play well, they still got that result, and I think that's what will carry them, through for especially the last match of the league play of the division play, and then on to those knockout stages.
Australia game should be good because some have to win. I mean, Denmark have to win. Australia probably living a little easier because they won't expect Tunisia to beat France.
Right.
I don't think any of us will.
Well, not at all.
Australia.
Stranger things have happened.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. And then, of course, the final match today, all eyes were on this match because if Mexico would have been able to pull out something, it would have ruined Argentina's World Cup. But as they say, the stars come out and show out, as you talked about Mbappe for France, Messi for Argentina.
I was going to say Argentina have one of their own, don't they?
Yes.
And again, going back to what I said, the first 60 minutes of this match, very tactical, fouling. I thought the Argentinian midfield was horrendous. DePaul was giving the ball to Mexico every chance he got. A lot of fouls.
Yes.
And I was saying to the people I was watching the game with, Messi needs to disappear. He needs to hide because Mexico were just focused on him. And they got the ball. I mean, their press in the first half was working. And if you notice, Argentina started to go wide in the second half.
Yeah.
And number 10 quietly just sat 20, 25 yards out, gets the ball, and that man needs it was a glimmer.
Yeah.
It goes to show you, like, you have to appreciate how amazing he is. Right. You really do, because for most people that's blocked, they take too long. But this man shows why he is the best of the best. One of the 2 greatest that we name in the modern era. Right. The difference between him and everybody else. He gets half a sight of goal, and lasers this thing in bottom corner, Ochoa, no chance. And I thought to myself, that's game over because Mexico hasn't shown a thing in attack for 2 games now, but at the point 1.5. And then they make a couple subs. Obviously, Mexico try and go get a goal, knowing that they need one.
They need one,
Enzo comes on and bends one. Oh my gracious, what a beautiful. That's another 80 million waiting for Benfica to receive. Just
Sure.
but he's wondering. What a goal. I was really hoping to see more of Julian Alvarez from Manchester City.
Right.
He didn't play a part in any of the, action, but as soon as he came on, Messi scored. So
Right.
the young Enzo scored. So Argentina's quietly got some very good youngsters coming through.
Yeah. Well.
Still carried them today.
Yeah. That group C now has put it on 4. Argentina on 3, Saudi Arabia on 3, and Mexico on 1. Yeah. What an interesting matchup on the final day in that particular group.
Well, the fun part about that one is Saudi Arabia played Mexico.
Right.
Mexico haven't scored a goal yet.
Right.
Saudi Arabia will be up for that because they feel like they could beat Mexico. I'm sure they feel like they beat Argentina. Sure. They could probably beat anybody. Feel like they could beat anybody. But Argentina played Poland.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to drop points there. So both games completely, they both mean something. They both
Argentina in a must-win situation because they know Saudi Arabia is not guaranteed, but they know Saudi Arabia is probably going to be heavily favored to beat Mexico in that match.
Either way, they're going to have to win.
Yeah.
So that should be 2 good games to watch for the last. And that's what you want to see. You want to see those last games mean something. Because the integrity of the competition's kept up. You're not going to see rotation. You're not going to see, deliberate rotation.
Right.
The tactical rotation. And I look forward to seeing that one.
Sure. Well, tomorrow we'll see the second round in Group E. As we know it, the surprise winners in the first round of this, Japan take on Costa Rica. As we know, Japan edged Germany 1-0.
Yeah.
2-1, right?
2-1 because Germany go first.
Yeah, 2-1. And now they'll play a Costa Rica side who, as we know, were
absolutely.
We can say hammered.
Yeah, don't be nice.
They were actually hammered 7-0 by Spain. So Japan will feel real good about coming into this game, especially coming in on a high, and then now knowing that Costa Rica, they'll be deflated, man. I mean, you get 7 in you at the World Cup. I don't care how big and strong you think you are, mate. In that locker room after that game, you're probably sitting there thinking, what just happened?
It ought to be. But on the flip side of that, when your next game comes, you've got to be thinking, you know what? We let our country down. Mm-hmm. We're going to go out there and make this right. So you would hope that they play better.
Right.
Obviously, Japan isn't the world powerhouse that Spain is, but Japan showed that they're a very capable side.
Sure.
So I think Costa Rica come to make amends. Costa Rica play with pride. And Japan, it'll be business as usual. It'll be, let's get the 3.
Right.
Let's move on to the next round.
Yep.
Business as usual. And as you know, the Asian teams are very unified.
Yes.
They're very business-like.
Yeah.
And also, shout out to Japan on the off the field, because I don't know if you've been seeing it, but at every tournament, you see how well they clean up. They clean up after.
Yeah, I actually was telling a few people who didn't see that part. I showed them the video, the fans. Did you see the change room, the players clean afterwards?
First time. I mean, even the last World Cup, if you remember, they had the heartbreak versus Belgium.
Yeah.
Made the headlines after that. So credit to Japan. I think a lot of people could learn from them.
Sure, man. Sure. Game 2 tomorrow at 9 a.m. It is Belgium taking on Morocco. These 2 teams, Group F, Belgium lead the group with 3 points. Croatia and Morocco both have 1 point, and Canada is the other team in the group they don't have any points. But this one here, obviously, Morocco is going to need something out of it because they will know that Croatia's playing Canada in the other game, but they will want to get something out of it.
Yeah, Morocco is going to have to show up. Belgium did not look good the other day. Kevin De Bruyne has since said they're probably not going to win the World Cup, mostly due to the age, which you can find at the back for Belgium. However, they do still have Kevin De Bruyne. Morocco, Ziyech, Hakimi, they had some chances in the first game, couldn't score. As we all know, the game between them and Croatia was kind of a snooze fest.
Yes.
So I think Morocco should come out and hopefully try and attack Belgium, because if you saw what Canada did to them, you can create the chances. And Belgium,
you got to put them away.
Yeah, Belgium, you got to put them away. Yeah. But Belgium will use the experience and try and tactically nullify the Moroccans. Wait for De Bruyne to create something and see what they could do.
Yeah.
I actually think this could be a good game. I'm getting so tired of watching these games and seeing teams with 5 across the back when they defend. I get it, but as a football purist, you just want to see football. You don't want to see
action. Action.
And I get it's tactical and it's blah blah blah, but you can still be tactically astute defending. You know what I mean? Teams do that, and I thought, going back a bit, Mexico were doing it very well in the first half today.
Right.
A little overboard with the fouling, but the press was on. Holland and Ecuador, the press was on, so you can do it and make it look good. But hopefully Morocco and Belgium play a little football tomorrow, because they do have.
Yeah, they both have talent to do that. Yeah.
I think the next game will be wide open.
Croatia, Canada.
Canada know nothing about defending.
No, and you saw that all out attack.
Canada
couldn't hit the target.
They couldn't hit water if they jumped out of a boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean the other day.
So true. But how do they fix that, Fully? How do they fix that? Because if you look at it, they showed a lot of class up until decision making of shooting. So they would really need to address that right away.
Their final third decision making was atrocious. And my dad doesn't even watch football. He knows what's going on, but he's not into it. And he's Canadian. And he even said, Dad, what are these guys doing? They're passing when they should shoot. They're shooting when they should pass. Guys are lining up 40-yard, prayers, because Courtois, 6'8"? So you're going to have to absolutely peach one to beat this.
Right.
So hopefully they've talked about that. The nerves are going because, as you know, Canada haven't been here in years.
Right.
Croatia will pass. I feel will try and pass Canada to death.
Right. Make them chase
a bit. However, that press could affect Croatia. You never know. They are very fast. I don't know if anyone realized that, but they are very fast. I'm expecting this one to be wide open. I really hope it's wide open. I hope Canada win. I would love to see them score first, because it'll, 1, calm them down, and 2, open Croatia up just that little bit more.
Yeah.
But they need to.
They would have to get in search of that equalizer, let alone try to get a win. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. Then the final match
is a big one.
The Spain and Germany's 2022 World Cup tomorrow.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's huge for Germany. Spain had the luxury of almost being able to lose, and it doesn't really.
Yeah.
But if you're Germany, you need something from this game. If you don't get anything from this game, it's night.
Yeah.
Play the reserves in the third game, because it really doesn't matter.
So true.
So
true.
Spain are obviously gonna not have to. They're gonna try and play the Spanish way. They're gonna press. They're gonna try and win the ball high. They're gonna get it. They're gonna pass and move, pass and move. I love the fact that Spain have kind of gone young.
Right.
Besides
a lot of energy in that team. A lot of energy in that team that showed that first game.
Right. Besides Busquets, they're all relatively young. The Barcelona boys in the midfield flying around. But Olmo, who scored the other day, Asensio from Real Madrid. I love that Spain have gone young. So much talent. Germany on the flip side, if we don't see Leroy Sané, I gotta maybe question the coach. Unless he's hurt, which I know he's dealing with a little niggle, but if that's the case, you say that he's not going to play. You tell him.
Right.
But if he's able to give you minutes, you give him some time.
Right.
Just the pace he has alone is worth.
So if he's carrying a slight knock, do you start him? And then if he can't go, bring him off? Or do you and the only reason I say that because I like to hear other people's opinion on just that tactic. Or do you bring him on?
Not knowing how bad it is, it's hard to say, but I am always of the opinion that if people are fit for the bench, they should start.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what's bugging him. If it's a hamstring or something, then no, you don't start him. You give him the 30 at the end and hope that he stays fit. But I've always been of the opinion that if guys can sit on the bench, especially like you see wingers and stuff, and the starter gets hurt 15 minutes in, and these guys come in, and it's like, well, if they can come in after 10 minutes, they can start.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little different preparation and stuff. So we'll see. But I think Germany is going to rotate a lot. I think the coach will probably leave their starters on a little longer because in my opinion, they thought that match was over at 1-0 and maybe substituted a little early. I think a little bit of arrogance in there. The backline they played the other day is not very good.
Right.
It's not.
But I think because they're going to be playing Spain, that extra attention to detail will be taken, and they won't take it as lightly as they took Japan during those periods of time. So
Germans are very proud footballers.
Yeah.
Like they won't take that loss lightly. They will want to make that right. Unfortunately, they're playing an absolute juggernaut. It's not just a 7-0. I mean, this Spain team is serious. Like I said, young, fast. All of them have won stuff almost. Pretty much. Those squad have won major trophies, so they know what it takes to win. And I think they have something to prove because they've kind of been slighted by the odds makers and stuff.
Right.
And they definitely are there to play. Germany gonna have to use that speed though, because getting at Spain the other way, the speed will hurt them.
Right.
You just have to get the ball first.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, it's 4 good matches tomorrow that each and every one of them have something to play for, and it's going to be interesting to watch. So we'll be back. Yeah.
It builds up as the day goes on, as they've kind of scheduled it, which is nice. And besides yesterday, you've kind of gotten that build up, and it hasn't let you down.
Right.
So
definitely. Well, we'll be back tomorrow night to bring you the results of these matches and look ahead to what is going to take place on Monday at the World Cup.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the rest of your night, buddy.
Have a good evening.
All right.